Tax is due? Use your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card and earn unlimited rewards. The time by Sagicor Bank is...
Tonight in CVM News at 7, grim Friday. One dead after falling into hole on Easington Bridge. Domestic dispute, woman killed in Manchester. Deadly water, child drowns in catchment tank. In news overseas, race to find American airman after fighter jet shot down in Iran. While in sports, CPL hierarchy says Jamaica's return massive for the tournament. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. It's Friday, April 3, 2026. I'm Amoy Harriet, and thank you for joining us for what will be a shortened newscast. Up first this evening, calls are mounting for authorities to fix the Easington Bridge in St. Thomas after two men fell into a massive hole in the bridge on Friday. One of the men died. CVM News understands that this isn't the first such tragedy on the bridge in recent months. It was a grim Good Friday for residents in Easington, St. Thomas. This massive hole seen here at the entrance of the Easington Bridge opened up during the passage of Hurricane Melissa over 5 months ago. Already, it has taken one life, and on Friday, it took another. Reports are that sometime around 8 a.m., two men, including the now deceased man who's a 91-year-old, were walking along the bridge when both fell into the hole. The elderly man died while the other was injured. Residents in the community are furious.
It has been 5 months since Melissa and the bridge was destroyed and deemed unusable. Hence, a bypass was created. However, pedestrians, bike and cyclists are using the thoroughfare middle of the night, broad day from time to time because some persons are living in Easington. This morning, somebody fell into the hole and died, which is the second such incident since Melissa.
The bridge needs to bar off properly. Something well across the bridge. I would dump it and put no exit on the bridge. People say that use the same way. And they are trying to bus going to do something about it. This is get out of hand. Really get out of hand. Then they do something. See, at Second Life now. You don't know who next.
They're calling on the government and relevant authorities to urgently fix the bridge.
The Member of Parliament and everybody to pay some attention to the Easington Bridge. We heard about other bridges across the nation that needs to be remedied, but Easington Bridge, which you see behind it, is a priority, and we are begging for them to make sure that a third life is not lost because of negligence of the authority.
Now, Member of Parliament for St. Thomas Western James Robertson is blasting the National Works Agency NWA as he says the agency has long been responsible for repairing the Easington Bridge.
On this bridge is the responsibility of the National Work Agency. This is one of 7 bridges to be built under a 55 bridge program funded. This morning, I don't mind the problems of what I'm going to say. I say to those who are in procurement in the different government agencies, you are costing lives. You are responsible for this. This bridge should have been built.
And Works Minister Robert Morgan, in expressing condolences to the victim's family, says the bridge had been closed by the NWA as a safety measure and that the closure was communicated to residents on several occasions. He says the bridge is among 47 bridges island-wide to be addressed under the Accelerated Bridge Program, which he says was prioritized by Cabinet last Monday.
Understand the inconvenience that closures can cause, especially in rural communities. But these decisions are only taken where there's a real concern about the risk to life. We're asking the residents of this area to be very careful and not cross the Easington Bridge, which we plan to repair under the Accelerated Bridge Program later this year. Once again, our deepest and sincerest condolences.
To other news now, a chilling case of suspected domestic violence has left a woman dead in Three Chains, Manchester. The victim has been identified as Tanzania Dunkley, an AC technician and a graphic designer. It's alleged that Dunkley had indicated to her common-law husband that she wanted to end the relationship. He then sent her 13-year-old daughter outside before carrying out the attack. Moments later, the child reportedly heard screams for help and upon checking, discovered her mother inside the home with multiple stab wounds and her throat slashed. The man, said to be a soldier, has since turned himself in to the police. As investigations into the incident are ongoing, residents say such violence is unheard of in their community, describing the incident as shocking and unprecedented.
The community is saddened and in mourning. Everybody is in mourning because it is said that this has never happened here. It has never happened, and look at the people around you. Everybody coming from near and far because this is strange to people living in this area. Good people, Christian people. This is my church sister. Christian people were in church today. We didn't expect this. I didn't expect my granddaughter-in-law, step-granddaughter to be dead today. We didn't plan for this. But because of sin, and people, young people needs to turn to the Lord. Because their lives will be better. And when they die, they'll spend eternity with Jesus.
Renewed calls tonight for Jamaicans to properly secure and cover water catchment tanks at their homes. The warning comes after the death of a 9-year-old boy in Long Hill, St. Elizabeth on Thursday. CVM News understands that Samuel Clark, a student of Goshen Primary, was playing outside his home when his ball fell into a water tank. It's understood that the child removed his clothes and entered the tank to retrieve it. Samuel's lifeless body was later removed from the tank. Operations Officer for St. Elizabeth Deputy Superintendent Owen Bryan says this isn't an isolated case.
Some persons may have suffered as a result of the hurricane, where roofs may have been removed from these catchment facilities. We're asking that you ensure that these tanks, that they are properly covered. Zinc, if you may, board, concrete, whatever it is, but ensure that these tanks are securely covered. So I want to say to the families that we do offer, counseling. We will certainly, through our CSS team, be visiting with the family to offer the kind of, help that they will need. If we do know that it's a very tough period at this time. Our task will also take us into the schools where we will meet with the classmates.
Jamaica is moving to strengthen its readiness for a potential tsunami following its participation in the regional Caribbean wave exercise. The drill tested early warning systems, communication networks, and evacuation procedures across the island. But as Akeem Orrit now reports, while progress has been made, officials say there's still a lot more work to be done.
Jamaica is taking a closer look at its tsunami response capabilities after participating in the Caribbean wave exercise, a regional drill designed to test how well countries can respond to a tsunami threat. The exercise put the island's early warning systems, communication networks, and evacuation procedures to the test. Northeast Region Coordinator at the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, Marlon Brown, says one of the major takeaways is the need to strengthen mechanisms across the island.
While we're working on building out the early warning systems and to install siren alarm networks within that across various regions in the country, those coastal areas that are most vulnerable, we have a long way to go, and indeed to get the public more aware of this hazard and its likelihood to happen, though rare, very real, and it does happen in the Caribbean. So
he notes that improvements must also be made to build capacity in early warning systems and to boost public awareness.
What it means for us in terms of the early warning system is that there's a specific sound that goes off when the siren is activated as a result of a tsunami threat. And people should be aware of this sound and should know that once you hear this alarm, it's not a matter to go and investigate, it's a matter to leave the coastal low-lying areas as quickly as possible, to get as far away from the coast as possible and as high up as possible.
And while the drill showed that systems are in place, gaps remain.
For the most part, these went well. Persons within the zone, immediate zone, got the messages on time. Other persons would have got delayed messages because of the sheer volume of messages that were to be sent out. And it also taught us that we need to revisit some of these protocols to see how we can get other notifications going out. The siren system was triggered simultaneously with the messages coming in from the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. And those closer to the area would have heard the sirens clearly enough, audible. But those further out would still need to respond. That showed us that we needed to do a little bit more in terms of testing of the volume.
Still, Brown expressed confidence that Jamaicans, especially those living in coastal areas, would respond appropriately in the event of a real threat. However, he cautions that some communities remain vulnerable than others.
All coastal communities, the low-lying coastal communities, are vulnerable and would be impacted by tsunami-type events.
Akeem Oret, CVM News.
The party capital of Jamaica. That's how Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Bill Navis, is describing the parish as St. Anne braces for what he says is a major economic boost this Easter weekend. With several events scheduled across the parish, promoters, vendors and business operators say they're preparing for what is expected to be a surge in activity and spending. Natasha Williams has the details.
With party billboards and banners lining the streets of St. Anne for events over the holiday weekend, the parish is set for a major economic boost. Speaking with CVM News on Thursday, Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Bill Navis, noted that Ocho Rios is slowly becoming the party capital of Jamaica. With events hosted in the parish growing each year, Mr. Bill Navis says he is anticipating it to expand, with the drugstore being declared an entertainment zone recently.
We're seeing an explosion in parties and activities along the zone. The fact is that there are a lot of church services and church events, and there are also regular party and soca events. So it's a mixture of both religious and regular individuals who want to revel in parties.
In the meantime, Mr. Bill Navis is optimistic about the hosting of Reggae Sumfest at Plantation Cove in the parish. He is assuring the public that parking and traffic issues won't be a problem.
This entertainment zone has a parking, big parking lot, several parking lots actually, and then there are several areas where they can have multiple events going on simultaneously.
He says there are plans to expand the entertainment zone.
The revenues associated with these events are significant. It runs into the millions of dollars that we receive from some of the promoters. This weekend we have Vacay Weekend. There's 6 shows in one, and it's a really big event. All the hotels are booked out, all the Airbnbs are booked out. It's going to be people are converging into the zone, and they want to be within the scope, the radius of Ocho Rios.
In the meantime, commanding officer of the St. Anne Police, Senior Superintendent Carlos Russell, says his team is equipped and ready to deal with the additional traffic.
As it relates to the larger parties, we will be working with our partners from P-Step and Area 2 to ensure that we have adequate police personnel deployed along the roadway to ensure the smooth flow of traffic. We have also looked at our traffic plan, and we put some plans in place to bring some of the traffic off the major road.
Both the mayor and SSP Russell are urging partygoers to carpool to help reduce traffic. Natasha Williams, CVM News.
At least one hurricane victim in Hanover is tonight breathing a sigh of relief after receiving a brand new home months after losing everything during Hurricane Melissa. But while there is hope for some, questions are being raised about government support for others. Akeem Oret has this story.
For months, Michelle Ann Brown had no place to call her own. The farmer and domestic helper from Spring Mountain District in Hanover lost everything during the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Since then, she had been relying on the kindness of a neighbor for shelter. Brown says her situation was made worse by serious health challenges which have limited her ability to work and recover.
I'm unable to work at this time because I am a sickly person. I have the diabetes, the high blood pressure, poor circulation. I have a eye problem, so I'm just grateful for this help.
Despite the moment of relief, Brown says she received no assistance from the government even after damage assessments were conducted following the hurricane.
NIS people come at my structure here and told me that they're doing an assessment and they will get back to me. I went up there and I showed them I'm showing them the picture. They say if somebody is doing the assessment already, they would not want to see the damage. I told them my house is flat and I have nowhere to live. So the gentleman told me that as long as they do the assessment, maybe just wait. I went up back there and the gentleman told me that my name doesn't come down as yet. I must check back.
The home was built and presented by CM Recycling as part of an initiative to support vulnerable residents in Hanover. In the meantime, a Member of Parliament for Western Hanover, Heather Miller-Bennett, who has been assisting residents, has since raised concerns about the Ministry of Labour's Roofs program.
I question how they're going about it. Is either the assessment is biased, or it is ineffective, or it is just not transparent. And so I think they need to look at it. They need to look at the program and how it is being done and how the distribution is taking place. I notice in certain communities that are supposedly PNP communities that persons are not getting the benefit, and yet still other communities persons are assessed and they receive their benefit. So I question the credibility of the program, and they need to look into it. They need to look into the program.
The MP is calling for greater transparency and accountability. Reporting for CVM News, I'm Akeem Oret.
We go now to news overseas. An American fighter jet has been shot down over Iran, sparking a major search and rescue operation inside the country. One crew member was reportedly rescued by U.S. forces, but the fate of the other person on board remains unknown. The BBC reports.
U.S. search helicopters prowl the skies over southern Iran, now in a deadly race to find America's missing airmen. Iranian state TV showing pictures of what it says is the wreckage of the downed US fighter plane. The Iranians claim it was shot down by an air defense system as it flew over a rugged province in southwestern Iran. Pictures on social media purport to show one of the two ejector seats. These images are as yet unverified but appear to be consistent with parts of an F-15 fighter jet. US officials say they launched a combat rescue mission under fire, finding one of the F-15 crew, its pilot. But the recovery helicopter was hit by gunfire, injuring crew members. These pictures appear to show men in a field opening fire on American Pavehawk helicopters used in search operations. We verified this footage was filmed today. Another plane involved was also hit, an A-10 Warthog like this. Its pilot ejected over the Gulf and was rescued. Meanwhile, Iranian government messages have been broadcast calling on residents to join a hunt for the pilots, offering a bounty for their capture.
We go now to a break, but stay with us. Sports when we come back.